Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has approved the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited to use the 2023 final dividends owed to the Federation to cover the cost of petrol subsidies. In addition, the President has approved a halt on the payment of 2024 interim dividends to the Federation to help boost NNPC's cash flow. Also, NNPC informed the President that due to the subsidy payments, it is currently unable to pay taxes and royalties into the Federation account, referring to this as a subsidy shortfall FX differential. A forecast from NNPC indicated that the total petrol subsidy expenses from August 2023 to December 2024 will amount to 6.884 trillion naira, leaving the company unable to remit 3.987 trillion naira in taxes and royalties to the Federation account. To discuss this, we're joined by Temitope Kolade, Senior Manager and Lead ESG and Climate Change Services at Anderson. Thank you for joining us. How might NNPC's decision to allocate the dividends for 2023 to cover petrol subsidy impact the company's financial stability and long-term profitability?
Good evening, and thanks for having me. I'm not sure that would have any sort of impact on the company. When you talk about financial sustainability, dividends really are meant to go to the shareholders, and the shareholder in this case is the federal government of Nigeria, the Federation, which is why we hear that the President is saying use that to take care of the subsidy. Apparently, sometimes the shareholder could also say we want some sort of organic growth, and so we're going to put it back into the development of the company for expansion and all of that. But that's not the cost that the NNPC seem to be taking, or the shareholders of the company seem to be taking at this point. I think the bigger question really is that how does it impact the sustainability of the country? Because the decision that the President is taking is for the entire country, as a matter of fact. It would mean that Nigeria will not have monies to do other things. That means we're still paying subsidy, in other words. So, I mean, it's just corroborating the fact day after day that subsidy is still with us. And we need to deal with that issue within the oil and gas sector to ensure that we have a sustainable sector and a sustainable country in itself.
What are the potential risks of halting the payment of 2024 interim dividends to the Federation? And how could this affect government revenues and public finances?
Yeah, already we see it's like taken from one hand and given to the other hand of the same individual. So again, I would say nothing much has changed. If you think about it, NNPC is already saying that we won't be able to pay taxes. It means that there will be no taxes from NNPC to take care of some social good, for instance. Again, it means that you either are collecting taxes as government, or you are paying subsidy with it, or you are not collecting taxes at all, and then you're already dealing with the subsidies. So it doesn't help the country. It doesn't help anyone. But again, it's the same hand, really.
Given the forecasted petrol subsidy expenses of over 6 trillion naira, what alternative strategies could NNPC adopt to manage the financial strain while still fulfilling its tax and royalty obligations?
Well, would expect that NNPC gives us the much desired, fulfill their much desired promises in terms of having the imports problem dealt with. If we have our refineries working in the country, it would mean that we would talk less of subsidy, as a matter of fact, because one of the things that has brought about the new NNPCL that we're not talking about is the fact that there was a PIA, and the PIA expects that at a particular point in time we'll begin to have a complete deregulation of that sector, and it would mean that we can also produce the refined products in the country. And if that is dealt with, it would mean that we'll talk less of subsidy, we'll talk less of importing crude, and that way we'll begin to have a self-reliant oil industry in Nigeria, where we don't have to talk about whether NNPC is not profitable because it's having to deal with subsidy payment or FX revaluations and all of those.
How does NNPC's current inability to remit taxes and royalties due to subsidy payment impact broader economic planning and resource allocation at the federal level?
It's a huge one, right? Number one, you think about it, it's always like a circle when you think about how economies work. You take from the government, you give to the people use it to buy products, they pay taxes, the companies pay taxes, and it gets back to the government. So it's a circle. Now, if for any reason there is a part of that balance that is making things lopsided, in which case you're putting so much into subsidy payments, and sometimes we even complain that those subsidies end up in the hands of certain individuals, it means that the life of the generality of the people becomes worse, because at one point it appears that you're providing some social good, and as you can see, we don't have those fuel products in the hands of Nigerians to even run their economic activities. So it leads to more hardship for people within the environment. So it has a huge impact on everyone, because again, the government is not taking taxes to develop infrastructure or ensuring that certain social goods are met. And on the other hand, we say we are paying subsidy, and it appears that there is not enough transparency when it comes to the much subsidy that may be going under the radar.
All right, Tokwa, thank you as always for your time.
Thanks for having me.